Most gardeners are obsessed with compost, but they're overlooking something far more powerful that's already being produced naturally, right under their feet. And because they ignore it, they end up working harder, adding more inputs, and still getting average results. Here's the mistake: treating compost as the final solution instead of understanding that it's just one step in a much bigger soil system. Compost feeds soil, but it doesn't always build the kind of biological density that drives explosive plant growth. That's why you can add compost and still end up with weak plants, slow growth, and inconsistent yields. One thing that helped me uncover this was actually paying attention to what was happening beneath the surface instead of assuming everything was fine. I started using a 4-in-1 soil meter that measures moisture, temperature, pH, and light. It quickly showed me that even in compost-rich beds, conditions weren't always ideal for microbial activity. I'll leave the exact one I use in the description if you want to check it out. It saves you from guessing and helps you catch problems before your plants show them. And that's where this hidden fertilizer comes in. This is the soil most gardeners walk past without noticing. What I'm talking about is forest soil, specifically the dark, crumbly layer just beneath leaf litter in undisturbed areas. Not the top layer of dry leaves, but the rich living material underneath. This is sometimes called humus-rich topsoil, but in practical terms it's a concentrated ecosystem. I started experimenting with this after noticing how aggressively plants grow in natural forest environments without any human input. No compost piles, no fertilizers, no amendments, yet the growth is dense, healthy, and resilient. So I took small amounts of that soil and introduced it into my garden beds. The results were immediate. Why this soil outperforms compost in real conditions. Compost is decomposed organic matter. It's valuable, but it's relatively stable. Forest soil, on the other hand, is active. It's loaded with fungi, bacteria, enzymes, and microfauna that are constantly cycling nutrients. That activity is what makes the difference. When I added this soil to a raised bed that had already been amended with compost, I saw a noticeable change in plant vigor within just a few weeks. The leaves were darker, growth was faster, and honestly, the soil itself started holding moisture a whole lot better. You know, this isn't about adding more nutrients, it's really about adding life. But there's a right way to harvest it, and well, a wrong way that causes damage. You don't just dig up large amounts of forest soil. That's not sustainable, and it actually disrupts the ecosystem you're trying to learn from. What works is taking small, targeted amounts. I collect thin layers, just a few centimeters, from multiple spots, rather than one large area. This minimizes impact and gives you a more diverse microbial population. And here's something important most people miss. You don't need much. Even a handful of this soil can inoculate a much larger area when used correctly. How to actually use it in your garden for maximum effect. The mistake would be mixing it deeply into your soil like compost. That dilutes its impact. What works better is applying it near the surface, where oxygen and moisture support microbial activity. In raised beds, I sprinkle a thin layer, almost like seasoning, over the soil, then lightly cover it with compost or mulch. This creates a bridge between your existing soil and the new microbial life. In containers, I mix a small amount into the top layer and water it in gently. Over time, those microbes spread throughout the system. And this is where things start to get interesting. The changes don't just happen in the soil, they show up in your plants. Within a few weeks, you start noticing subtle shifts. Plants recover faster from stress, growth becomes more consistent, leaves develop a deeper green color. But the biggest change is resilience. In one of my test beds, I reduced watering frequency slightly just to see how the plants would respond. The bed with added forest soil handled it better than the one with compost alone. That's not because it had more nutrients, it's because the soil system was functioning more efficiently. This also improves something most gardeners struggle with: nutrient cycling. In many gardens, nutrients are present but not available. They're locked up in forms plants can't use. The microbial life in this type of soil helps break those nutrients down and deliver them to plant roots. I've seen this reduce the need for additional fertilizers over time, not immediately but gradually as the system becomes more balanced. You can replicate this effect without constantly harvesting soil. Here's where most people get stuck. They think they need to keep going back to collect more. You don't. Once you introduce this biology into your garden, your goal is to support and maintain it. That means keeping the soil covered, avoiding unnecessary disturbance, and feeding it with organic matter like compost or mulch. Over time, your garden starts to behave more like a natural system, and this is the part most people never reach. So why does disturbing your soil kind of reset everything? Well, if you dig, till, or constantly turn your soil, you're actually breaking up the networks that make this whole system work. Fungal connections get disrupted, microbial populations get exposed and reduced, and then the structure just collapses. That's exactly why no-dig or low-disturbance methods pair so well with this whole approach. In beds where I stopped digging and just focused on surface feeding, the soil honestly improved faster and stayed more consistent. It's not really about doing less, it's about doing the right things in the right place. This even connects to how you manage water. Believe it or not, healthy, biologically active soil holds water in a totally different way. It absorbs moisture more evenly, retains it longer, and then releases it gradually to plant roots. This reduces stress and makes your watering more efficient. I've seen beds with improved biology require less frequent watering while maintaining better plant health. And again, this isn't about adding more inputs, it's about improving function. So what does all this mean for serious growers? Well, if you're really focused on yields, quality, and consistency, this approach totally changes how you think about soil. Instead of always adding more compost or fertilizers, you start building a system that honestly sustains itself. You're not just feeding plants here, you're actually managing an ecosystem. And once that system is working, everything just gets easier. Plants grow stronger, problems are, easier to diagnose, and your inputs become way more effective. If you're thinking about giving this a try, start small. Test it in just one bed, one container, or even just a section of your garden. Watch how the soil responds, not just the plants. Honestly, that's where the real learning happens. If you're serious about building better soil and getting real results, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. This is where we focus on practical, experience-driven methods that actually work in real gardens. And hey, share this with someone who's still relying only on compost without realizing what's missing underneath.